some notes. The passive and unavailable mother, and how it relates to those of us who identify as being codependent. And on this channel, I talk a lot about codependency. I talk a lot about narcissism. I talk a lot about inner child healing because they all gel together. And they gel together because when you have alcoholism in a family, when you have narcissism in a family, when one of your parents is a codependent and married to a narcissist or married to an alcoholic, what happens is in the codependent relationship, the parent who's codependent can be aloof towards the children and passive towards the children and be so focused on the alcoholic parent or so focused on the narcissistic parent that the children of the home go ignored. This is where emotional neglect comes from. And you can grow up with, you can go to Overeaters Anonymous, you could have issues with escapism, you could have an eating disorder, and you will absolutely, if you stay in recovery long enough, you'll discover that you trace your disorders, your anxiety disorder, your eating disorder, you can trace it all back to childhood. Now, this isn't stuff that we're making up. This is absolutely proven. They've done sociology reports, they've done behavioral reports. This is all true. And if you're struggling with anything in your life right now, whether it's relationships, if you're struggling with low self-worth, if you're struggling with feelings of inadequacy, this is important that you identify this. If you grew up with a mother or a father that was highly narcissistic, you did not get what you needed. But the reality is that, and I'm saying this as a recovering codependent parent myself, a codependent mom in recovery many years now, when you're highly codependent, you're not there for your kids like you could or should be because you're a child yourself. You never grew up. And your codependency causes you to abandon the self. And when you are abandoning yourself, you end up resentful. You complain a lot. You look around the room and you're like, why doesn't anybody care about me? Why doesn't anybody care if I eat? Why do everybody keep asking me? Why does everybody keep asking me to do things for them? Doesn't anybody care that I'm tired? These are signs that you are codependent, signs that you're abandoning the self and you're not paying attention to yourself. When we are codependent, and if we, grow up in a home where we felt invisible, then what happens is we are invisible to the self. And we develop these, someone just asked me on the live stream if the grief for the narcissistic parent ever goes away. I think it does. I think it can, as long as you heal the wound that having a narcissistic parent created. And so if you don't heal the wounds that the narcissistic parent created, then you remain a child. Now, when we grow, when we expand, when we become emotionally mature, this is all through emotional regulation and through training. Once we elevate our consciousness beyond the consciousness that we're at now, then sure, we grieve what? If you have a narcissistic parent, you grieve what you never had. You have to learn how to go through that process. You see, what happens is if you have a narcissistic parent, if you had an aloof, passive mom who was addicted to your father's approval, or she was just so, hypervigilant around his moods, then your emotional needs were not met, and that's not your fault. And so you want to know why you don't have self-esteem? That's not your fault. In order for me to develop a self, in order for me, that's my dog moaning, but in order for me to have a self, in order for me to feel like I'm good enough, I needed someone from the outside. Let me get my little stick figures here. I needed someone from the outside to validate that I had a self. So let's say this is mom, and let's say this is me. If when I look, actually, let me turn around. When I look into mom's eyes, if all I see is you're a burden, You are annoying, right? You are agitating me. You want too much, right? If all I see is constant criticism, so if this is mom, and let's say mom is turned away from me, and all she does is focus on the man in her life, or the problems in her life, then who's programming me to feel seen? The mirror neurons in my head for a healthy sense of self do not get turned on. You see, in order for you to have a healthy sense of self, the middle of your brain would have to have been activated. And so the area of your brain that's responsible for self-perception, guess what turns that on? People from the outside. And so if mom looks into your eyes, remember your eyes are the windows to the soul. If mom looks into your eyes and you feel seen, guess what happens? All of the neurological fibers in the middle of your brain get turned on, and you begin to develop a psychological schema for who I am. And guess what? Because mom says it's positive, you start having positive emotions and feelings for yourself. So that's how you develop a healthy sense of self. You only develop a healthy sense of self when someone outside of you helps you know that the self that's in there is worth it. I did not have a healthy sense of self. How could I? How could I? The person that was supposed to tell me that I was good told me that I was bad, intimidated me, like literally bullied me. She was my first bully. She had problems. She was the adult child of an alcoholic, actually two alcoholic parents. She suffered severe abuse. She quit high school. She married my father when she was 19. She had me when she was 19. Her father died 5 months before I was born. My mother was a child. She was a child. But did I know that my mother was a child? I did not know that. I came into this world a little bambino, needing this child to love me. And this child was broken. So this child could never make the child that I was feel good enough. Dear ones, that is not my fault. And that is not your fault if that's your story. But the 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 moral of the story is that, and that's why I'm so adamant, and I stay in this space and I create my content, because there is just so much content out there that just focuses on the narcissist and focuses on the narcissist. That's not going to heal you. And while it's good to understand what the red flags are, and it's good to understand how narcissists operate, and it's good to understand how being raised by narcissists affected you, you are so much more powerful than your fear. You were meant to love. You were meant to love people and to be loved. And so, it's a shame that so many of us get arrested and we think, oh, that's it, I'm done for. And I do think that until you heal the patterns that are running, it's a good idea to like pump the brakes when it comes to dating. It's a good idea to not rush in, because you will attract your mama. You will attract your father. You could attract a narcissistic sibling. And Alyssa just said, when I tried to be seen, I was accused of being an attention seeker. Let me help you out with that, Alyssa, right now. When you crave potassium, it means that when you crave a banana, it means that you are missing potassium, right? Your body is low on potassium. So craving potassium will cause you to know or feel like you are craving a banana. And so you eat a banana or two bananas and your potassium level goes up. Well, potassium is necessary to pump your heart. It's got a charge, just like sodium. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, they all have electrical charges. Your heart is an electrical pump. The SA node, I think it's the AV node or NA node. I gotta look that up. But your heart is a pump. And so the electrolytes, the electrolytes that you take in actually pump your heart. There is reason I'm telling you this. And so when you crave something, it's because you're missing something. I pray that my grandchildren, we're going on 5, But I pray that none of my grandchildren ever, ever need to crave love. I hope that they feel love and they attract love. I craved love because I didn't get love. Doesn't mean I wasn't fed my Cheerios in the morning. Doesn't mean I didn't get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a thermos full of milk back in the day. And it doesn't mean that my mother didn't have chicken and salad for dinner at the end of every school day. Doesn't mean that I didn't have clothes to go to school in. Of course I did, right? Some kids don't. It doesn't mean I wasn't fed. Doesn't mean I wasn't taking the doctor. I'm talking about consistent maternal warmth. I never felt safe. I never felt seen. I never felt heard. I never felt loved. I did not feel loved. And that is why I craved love. That is why I sought out relationships that mirrored that pattern. So no, I didn't date men that treated me well. I didn't have boyfriends that treated me well. I had boyfriends that wanted me to chase their love. Now, is that their fault? No, quite frankly, that's not their fault, because they had their own issues and they met a girl who I was too available for them. And you never appreciate people that are too available. You just don't. And I was too available. As a young codependent, I was too available. I realize that now. And I married my ex-husband, who I actually pursued him. But now I understand why. It was the attraction, the absolute attraction towards a man who was going to ignore me, gaslight me, accuse me of wanting too much because I wanted to have a conversation around us figuring out what was wrong, which is it's like he was persecuting me, which is what my mom used to do. And so here I was, my body was feeling this familiar, and it felt like my brain said, oh, this is an attraction. It was an attraction, but it was a deadly attraction. It was an emotionally deadly attraction, because what it really was just resonance. And so the issue that we have is that we will attract what we know, and our brain will say, oh, this is familiar, it will feel safe, even if it is the most destructive relationship that we could ever have. And so codependency is extremely, extremely serious. And it's not something that we should just ignore. If you are codependent, that means that you are abandoning the self. You're not loving the self. That means that you're probably resentful. You're probably angry. You probably shut down. So instead of getting angry, you go into the silence. You stuff your emotions. Why? That's what your parents did, right? Dad was drunk, but mommy acted like he wasn't drunk. Or your sister stole your car and she slammed it into a brick wall, but we're not going to talk about it, right? We don't talk about anything. In toxic homes, we don't talk about anything. We don't take accountability for anything. We don't expect people to be kind in a toxic family. There's usually an authoritarian at the helm, and then a codependent that just lets this happen. And so here we are in this experience where we're taught to go and pretend and to be fake. But the damage is, dear ones, is that that puts us into survival mode. Codependency is survival mode. And if you are codependent, you are stuck in survival mode. And I'm excited because once I figured this out, I swore to myself that I was going to share this information, which I have done since 2009 here on YouTube. I can't even believe I'm saying that. I mean, oh my God, in 4 years, it'll be 20 years on YouTube. It's like crazy. I've been offering my legacy program, the 12-week breakthrough coaching program, since 2016. And it is helping people heal from codependency. Why? Because codependency needs to be addressed at the subconscious level. That if you're not healing codependency from the subconscious level, then it stays very superficial. And so then what happens is we move through life and we're so caught up in the mental field that we're focusing a lot on our behavior, but we haven't changed the program. We haven't filled up that hole in our heart. And that's really important. And as someone who has been doing this for a long time, and yes, Jilly just said that doing Wayne Dyer meditations and affirmations is really important. But here's the thing about affirmations. This is what I want everybody to know. Because to me, it's a shame. We've got the spiritual field over here. We've got the psychological field over here. We've got trauma-informed coaches and programs over here. We've got self-help over here. We've got mindfulness here. We've got meditation. We've got spirituality. We have metaphysics. And it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. All human beings' minds work the same way, right? So you have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and then a higher conscious mind. But most people just live in the 5% conscious mind. When people come into our coaching community, we're pushing them to break through from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind and to the higher conscious mind. Call it the neocortex. So when you are in trauma, it's Amy the amygdala and Harry the hippocampus that keep you stuck. And they're children. They're about 3 and 6 years old. And so they're watching home movies all day long. And it's all yucky stuff. And their answer is to eat popcorn, pull the covers over their head, and never go out, right? It's to, remain, staring outside the window and be remaining hypervigilant. And, oh, Harry, who's coming? And Amy, who's coming? And what's that noise? And what's that noise? That's no way to live. Your nervous system is completely jacked. So what we have to do is down-regulate your nervous system, which is what we do in the 12-week breakthrough coaching program. So we down-regulate your nervous system. And through the community, we help to co-regulate everybody's nervous system. Why? Because if your nervous system stays on alert, right, and you don't learn the tools on how to stay in your body and to teach your body, I'm safe. I'm not 3 years old anymore. And my brain was designed to remember, right? So it's really important that you think about that. My brain was designed to remember because Source, my higher power, creator, loved me so much that they wanted me to remember like that. The second my consciousness recognized a threat so I could change it. You see, we misunderstand what complex trauma is, in my opinion. Complex trauma is it is a real thing, but it's our perception of what's happening in our bodies that screws us up. Once this clicked for me, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I have complex trauma. I have CPTSD. I absolutely have triggers, but my brain's working the way it was intended to work. That was transformational for me. So my brain is trying to keep me safe. My inner child went through all this stuff, and my body, it remembered what that felt like. And I have a memory, right? So we have long-term and short-term memory. So now this trauma or this feeling, it's not the trauma, it's the experience of the trauma. So it's what I've downloaded because of the trauma. Not only that, it's my perception of the past that's keeping me stuck. Trauma happened, it's done. You already survived it. You already survived it. What we're trying to heal is the body's reaction to it. And if you go deeper, what you're trying to heal is your perception of it. You see, once my perception of the trauma changed. And I realized, wow, everything that I'm feeling is correct. My brain is responding. The amygdala, the interfugal pathway, all of it. Like, I'm remembering what it felt like to be 3 and to have my mom say this, to have her do this, all of it. Because my brain is trying to help me survive, and it's also trying to help me prevent this thing from happening in the future. To me, I thought, that's a beautiful thing. This whole time, I've been feeling broken because I had trauma. I was feeling ashamed. When you have trauma, you have shame. And so when you're a little kid and you're not getting the love that you needed, you're egocentric. That's why with my little granddaughter, she just turned 3, I keep telling my daughter, because she's going through the terrible 3s, like, be very careful about how you respond to her right now. Because if you freak out because she's having a tantrum, she's going to internalize you freaking out as that's her fault. So she's egocentric. And if you make her feel like you're losing control and you're sad or whatever, that baby's going to say, this is my fault. I did that to mommy. And she's going to feel shame. We carry the feeling of shame for forever until we break through it, until we can face it, until we can bring it up from the subconscious mind and we can deal with it in a way that feels nurturing and in a way that feels safe. And I'm proof that you can do that. I'm proof. I mean, I learned to have tea with Amy, the amygdala. I learned to have tea with Harry, the memory bank, the hippocampus. I learned to have tea with shame. I just brought everything in, in. And maybe it's because that, I don't know. There's a very tough part of me where I just refuse to allow the past to control me. I refuse to allow my brain to control me. I refuse to allow my stored responses to trauma, my stored responses to trauma responses. I refuse to allow that to control me. I was not going to allow the past, my mother, my father, my siblings, my ex, his family. No, I was going to break through. So even with the triangulation, even with the smear campaigns, even with the gang mentality, I was going to break through it all. And I'm so grateful that I took codependency recovery seriously. And we offer the 12-week breakthrough coaching program because people that go through this, sometimes you start to break through and you get a little bit of leeway and you start to feel a little bit of reprieve, and then you think, oh, that's it, that's as far as I'm going to go. But that's you settling. Sometimes you start to break through, you go no contact, and your narcissistic family or even your codependent family, like, where's your sister? What's she doing? Why didn't she call your brother? Why didn't she call your aunt? Why isn't she here on Sunday? Who does she think she is? So this idea that families, toxic families, no one's allowed to be an individual. No one's allowed to say no to Nona. No one's allowed to have their own thought process. Like, that has to stop. And so when you start healing, what ends up happening is that the weak-minded people in your life get intimidated. They don't like that. They don't like when you start to stand up for yourself. And so weak-minded people want to control you. Weak-minded people are intimidated by people who are developing sovereignty, by people who are going quiet, by people who are not reacting to what the circus that's happening around the kitchen table. Like, if you want to freak your toxic family out, just shut up. Just shut up. You will freak them out. And so I wanted to just do a short live stream about, explaining how a passive codependent mom, a passive codependent mother who, if you have a passive mother, that meant she was also emotionally unavailable. And if your mother was emotionally unavailable, then you grew up feeling unseen, invisible, and abandoned. And what you do is you abandon the self, then you get resentful, and you get sick. You get sick from autoimmune issues, you suffer inflammatory issues, and yeah, you can be emotionally frozen, you can be numb. So you have all this suppressed rage and anger, and then what happens is you go silent, you go numb. So being numb and being silent are ways that you're dealing with the suppressed anger. And sometimes codependents, when they start doing this work and they get in touch with the anger, it kind of like freaks them out. It's like, I'm going to become an axe murderer. No, you're not. We're just going to teach you how to feel. And we're going to validate that this is how you feel. And we're going to explore why you feel this way. It's all part of the healing process. And that's why I think it's so great to be able to do it in a community. Now, if you have the time and if you had the resources, then the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program is a fantastic opportunity to unpack this and to start moving your life forward. So I want everybody to understand that the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program, so many of you write me and ask about it, is I want you to understand it's a brain retraining program. It is a self-reframing program. So codependents and people who come from emotional neglect may or may not know, I didn't know, but most people don't know, that they do not have a healthy relationship with their self. They are dissociated. They don't know what they feel. They don't know how to speak their truth. And thank you. Someone just said the program completely changed their life. And I'm so grateful that I don't know who this person was that just came on the screen and said that the program changed their life, but I'm so grateful for that. But it's important that you realize it's not like this, oh, this hippy dippy healing program. Like, no, this is the nitty gritty. If you have been in talk therapy and it doesn't work for you, we hear that a lot. Like, people who have tried everything come to the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program and they discover what they were missing. They were missing the science. They were missing the community. They were missing the journaling prompts. They were missing the theta brainwave meditations. So what we do is most children are wounded below the age of 7. That's a theta brainwave state. So what I do is I record meditations, obviously in my voice, loving, compassionate, nurturing meditations, and I record them in theta. And so I speak to the wound that is at the theta level. And what that does is that helps to unravel the knots that keep you stuck at a neurological level. It also helps to rewire the neurology of the brain. And so you go from living from survival, Amy, the amygdala, and Harry, the hippocampus, to Neo, the neocortex, right? And so if you follow the work, if you watch the video training, the first video lesson will drop in members' dashboards on July 13th. You have an entire week to watch the video, to listen to the meditation twice a day. Remember, we're retraining the brain. And you have an entire week to do your journaling prompts. You have your entire week to do the homework. You need about an hour a day. And if you can commit to an hour a day, then within 90 days, you will have mental clarity. You will have the beginning of a new brain. You will feel emotionally free. You will be able to spot a narcissist on a dime. You will not lose yourself to other people's drama. you will no longer fear abandonment. You will no longer fear rejection. By the end of the 12 weeks, you're not going to want to isolate. You are going to want to start doing things that you've never allowed yourself to do. And we take you through that process. I have a team of life coaches that help me, and we add exclusive resources to the Facebook page. And you can go to the Facebook page any time of the day and respond to a post, and either me or one of my life coaches will respond. Every Saturday morning, we spend 90 minutes together, co-regulating, or I answer your questions live. You can ask me anything. We take those videos, we put them in your member dashboard. Why is that important? Because it's super freaking convenient. That's why. Because as you're going through your modules, right, you could watch the live streams. The only thing with the on-demand class is amazing also. It's just no Facebook community, no live coaching from me, and no live streams. But the on-demand class, if you can't afford the live class, the on-demand class is a great option. But I highly recommend the live class. And if you've taken the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program and you want the refresher and you want all the recent updates for 2025, you're entitled to take that at 50% off. And so this is a fantastic opportunity. I wanted to come on and explain how if you have a passive mom, you also have an emotionally unavailable mom. And this leads to you feeling invisible, and you stuffing your feelings, and you feeling frozen, and you developing codependency, and you struggling with yourself, and you pushing yourself away. It's all self-abandonment stuff. And in order for you to love yourself, like I love myself today. I love myself. I love myself more today at 60 than I did when I was 20. I don't think I ever loved myself. To be honest, I mean, if I really think about it, like, you know, I don't think I ever loved myself. And so to be 60 years old, like I never want to die now, because it's like, oh, I finally found out how to love myself. I don't want to die now. Whereas, before I awakened, it was like every day I suffered. I suffered. I didn't know how to fix myself. I didn't know what was wrong. You can't fix a hole in the wall you can't see. You can't make a choice you don't know you have. And you can't love a self that you don't know you have. You can't love a self that you've been taught isn't good enough. You just can't, because you're addicted to the outside. You're either trying to keep everybody away because you're so afraid of getting hurt, or you're trying to enmesh with others, and then you take care of them because you need to feel useful to them. Otherwise, why would they be with you? We don't think that we have value just because we are, but that's the way we have to start showing up. We have to and Shorty just said, excuse me, I think your name was Short something, just said that he lost a bunch of weight and he's taking care of himself for the first time in his life. Like, that's incredible. You're enough. And we have to teach you how to take care of yourself from a higher state of consciousness. And I see myself as a mentor and a guide for other wounded adult children who are stuck. So if you're here, over 100 of you have shown up live. I really appreciate that. If you are here, I hope you feel inspired by my inner child. My inner child is trying to get you to have hope that it is possible to heal this stuff and get to the other side. And it will, because it was created by my wounded inner child and my healed adult parent self, my authentic self. I wrote everything down that helped me heal and break through while I was going through my divorce, while I was going through one narcissistic relationship after the other, until I finally figured out, oh, this is what I was doing wrong. These are the steps that I needed to take in order to get to where I am. And today I'm married to my husband, Anthony. We're together 15 years. He has 3 kids. I have 3 kids. And to watch these children's lives transform over the past 15 years, and Anthony would tell you himself, because of codependency recovery, you know, I can die a happy woman because I tried. I didn't always get it right, but I never gave up. I broke cycles, and I'm doing good in the world. And that's awesome. And if I can help one person, one inner child escape how their brain is responding to what happened to them that wasn't their fault, that's enough for me. Really, that's enough for me. So I also want to encourage everybody to, if you look in my community post, you will see a link to join a free 1-hour webinar next Tuesday at 12 o'clock. I had a webinar yesterday, but we had some technical difficulties with sending out the replay. But you are free to join the free Inner Child Workshop next week, 12 o'clock Eastern. Go to the community post, just click, and you'll be brought to a page where you just add your email so that we can get you registered for the event. I'll be running weekly webinars until we launch the 12-week breakthrough coaching program. And in addition, when you register for the next live 12-week breakthrough coaching program, if you go to the community, Jilly, if you go to the community post on my YouTube channel, it's the latest post that's been posted today. So we will get the journaling prompts to you also, those of you, because what I did was yesterday I offered 10 powerful journaling prompts. Journaling prompts have changed my life. I had to teach myself how to ask the right questions, but I've been doing this now, like asking myself these types of journaling prompts probably since 2010. And so that's a long time now. So I've been perfecting journaling prompts and crafting them to help other people break through. And journaling prompts are a part of all of my coaching programs and a huge part of the Break the Warrior membership site as well. But when you attend, we're going to give you a PDF of journaling prompts to download and start working on. When you join the class, which the early bird is going on now, when you join the class, you're also going to get a 1-year complimentary membership to my Breakthrough Warrior membership class. And that is also going to give you access to another live stream with me every month. So that this next 12-week breakthrough coaching program, you're getting a weekly live stream, 3 live Zoom calls, and a free year subscription to the Breakthrough Warrior membership site. And so, because that's how committed we are to helping you break through. I do not have to continue to run these live classes. I run them because they work. I run them because every time I end a class, what I hear over and over and over is, Lisa, your live streams brought it home for me, tied all the information together. I so looked forward to being with you and the group on Saturday mornings. So you're going to get, like I said, every Saturday morning at 9, and then the Zoom calls will be announced when we come together as a group on Zoom. So this is a great opportunity to really finally put you first. So I hope that this has made sense to you. Thank you so much for being here. And you can go, like I said, if you want to join me for these upcoming free webinars, just go to my community post, click the link, and you will be absolutely able to join me there. And I will see you there. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer during the webinar, you can email me at coach@lisaaromano.com. Dear one, just know that you're enough. If you ruminate, you don't have to. I don't ruminate anymore. I used to ruminate. I was never in my own skin. I was always worried about something or someone or what everybody else was thinking. Always taking care of everybody. Always leaving my body to worry about something else. I don't do that anymore. I have so much peace. I have so much peace in my mind. And I think one of the most fabulous things that's happened is I've awakened, my consciousness has awakened. Enlightenment isn't, oh, yeah, I'm this guru. I was a codependent mom yesterday, but today I'm a guru. That's not enlightenment. Enlightenment is like a dimmer switch. You just push the dimmer up a little bit more each day, just a little bit more each day, just a little bit more each day. And that's what the 12-week breakthrough coaching program can help you do. Brings everything to the surface. We observe it. You're at a higher state of consciousness. You're emotionally regulated. You gain emotional and spiritual intelligence. You become more cognitive, more metacognitive, more self-aware. And the things that used to bother you, they begin to dissolve because your entire worldview and entire perception of self is beginning to shift. We got you, dear one. We've been there and we can help you break through. Namaste is about to the love and light that is actually and absolutely in you. If you would like to learn more, go to www.lisaaromano.com. Bye for now. You are enough. Bye, everybody. Whoop. My finger's in the way. Hold on. Bye.